So I think I figured out how potentially Albert Einstein came up with E equals mc squared. And so I used to have an old thought experiment that led into my artist's utopian society, and that's where it took my brain. However, tonight it just dawns on me. Mass and energy. And so energy would be the center of mass, and you would just ping it back and forth. Same way that you would have two singularities in space, and you're trying to conceptualize time with that, and how reality could ever understand distance or anything in general. I haven't used that in a long time, and so you need three, right? The third is the constant, because the third is like an observer. So you have this third point in space and the two singularities, and if they're moving apart or they're rotating or whatever they're doing, as long as that third point remains constant, then the other points become relative. Well, it never dawned on me until just now that how he came up with energy equals mc squared is actually, before it fades, I don't want to fade the idea in my head, but that between this point and the shell and how they can communicate with one another, that you have a third party that can actually observe that. But why constant squared? I don't know. He's a weird guy. Really weird guy. How the fuck? Because, alright, so my brain's back in that thought experiment. That one I used so long ago. 2016, maybe? And I would hold these two objects and imagine an entire universe just as we have now. And some of the true artist utopian society is the way I would inflate one and I would shrink the other because of relativity. Well, as that grows, that becomes ever so small that they need each other, and one circles the other and becomes the Big Bang. Well, now you look at each of them, boom and boom. How do they communicate to one another? How do you design that constant? And how do you have the third party, the observer, that is just a single point anywhere relative to either party, that each structure can be viewed as thing? And I'm guessing that's relativity, right? That's part of relativity. But why did he figure out E equals mc squared? Why? What is it like to be in his brain and to try and understand not spherical matrices, but the entire universe as a grid? He's a weirdo. It'll be a good conversation. However, I ain't gonna upload this, so I ain't gonna remember this, because I already forgot the point I wanted to make. And think was that I thought I understood how potentially he wrote it out. Now he's sitting there thinking, and so you have constant squared, but when you root a constant or a squared number or variable, that the other two parties have to be squared as well. And so you create that graphing structure, but a gridding structure. If e's, we're not going to do math, we're just going to say e's 9 and mass is 9, and so you graph them and there is 3 equals 3 c, and you're trying to find c, and so is it secretly? I mean, it seems secretive, right? It just doesn't make any sense that E equals mc squared, so you can take c squared and equate that over 1, which is then, right? Or something like that. And E over C is equal to M over C. Well, it's a little more funny than that. You know, algebra is so ridiculous. Until you actually do the math. I'm trying to hold things here for you. And that, and that, and that, and that. I'm really drunk. I'm not too good at algebra and anything. It's more like, how did he write it down and why to where you have 3 variables and one's a constant and yet it's squared? See, I don't think like him. I don't think like that.